From the weather team you can trust, this is Winter Ready.
Welcome, everybody, to our 2020-2021 Winter Weather Special. Every year, the WROC weather team breaks out the winter coats, the gloves, and the Chodex snow measuring tools to get you ready for the impending winter ahead. Over the next 30 minutes, we invite you to sit back and relax as we walk you through everything winter, including our official predictions for how this winter will unfold across western New York. I'm joined now by meteorologist Josh Nichols and Christine Gregory, who is celebrating her very first Winter Weather Special appearance here at News 8. Hey, guys.
Well, hey there, Eric, and yes, welcome, Christine. And because this is your first weather special with us, we're going to allow you to kick things off.
Yes, thank you both, Eric and Josh. We start our winter weather special with the elephant in the room, COVID-19. Unlike any other winter, this one has the very unique element of being in the midst of a pandemic. And this could have significant implications not on the actual winter itself, but our ability to enjoy what winter has to offer.
Winter is fast approaching, and many of you are itching to get out and enjoy all the activities winter has to offer. But with COVID-19 hovering over the upcoming season, doing things outside of sledding or building a snowman in your backyard may look a bit different this year.
We're constantly getting updated guidelines from the state.
Suzanne Mal is the marketing director over at Swain Ski Resort, where they're sorting through new protocols that include capacity limitations, cleaning, social distancing, and even wardrobe.
Winter face masks, ski masks do qualify. They do need to be worn anytime that you're not sitting down to eat or actively skiing.
And speaking of actively skiing, signs do indeed point toward this ski season being particularly active. David Fabris is the general manager of the ski company in Henrietta, and they've also been busy with preparations.
We have seen an increase in a lot of new faces, I'll say, and that have stopped in and are excited to give it a try.
So I am really excited, and I think that, it will be fine because we're mainly outside anyways.
The excitement for outdoor winter sports likely came with Governor Andrew Cuomo giving the green light, stating ski resorts will be allowed to reopen with limited indoor capacity, which will allow New Yorkers to have some outdoor activity this winter without having to quarantine when they come back. Other specific guidelines, such as social distancing between parties, restricting lifts to the same party, having resorts open at 50% capacity with 25% capacity on the mountain during peak days, and of course, wearing a mask at all times will be enforced. So will this season look different? Yes, but different could still get you out on the slopes in the midst of a pandemic.
And it's important to note here, all of these restrictions, guidance, and mandates are fluid. It's entirely possible what exists today might not exist next week or even next month, depending on how this pandemic evolves. Eric?
Yeah, and it's entirely possible, Christine, people will be spending more time this winter at home. And we have a project that could help you help us. Meteorologist James Gilbert says if you can't go snowboarding, you can build one at home. Just maybe not the kind you might be thinking about. James?
Eric, thank you. We are talking about measuring snow. One of the most difficult things we can do to measure in meteorology is figure out how much snow has fallen. You've got thermometers. Those measure temperature very well. A rain gauge measures rain, but measuring snow a little bit more difficult. There is a way to do it, and that's with a snowboard. No, not the one you take down the ski slopes. Measuring snow is one of the most important things we can do for winter meteorology. It helps us forecast, it helps us understand snow better, and maybe most importantly, it helps us verify our snow forecasts. We're going to measure snow at my house, and the step you need to do first is find a place. Let's go in my backyard. All right, so we're in my backyard now, and I've got a couple of trees back here. So what we want to find is an open area away from any trees and, of course, away from the house. So I've got this tree here, and the next tree is off the screen over here. So I think I've got a pretty decent spot right about here where it's well away from other trees and away from the house, and it's a nice open plot of land that's nice and flat. So we've got our spot. Now the next thing we need to do is build our snowboard. All right, we are now in my garage and we're ready to make the snowboard. Basically what you need is a piece of plywood, ½ inch, maybe 5/8. I have a long piece of scrap wood that I found, this 4 feet long, and I'm just going to cut it in half and put them together to make a 24-inch by 24-inch square. That's all you need, plus a little bit of white paint. We'll get to that in a second. Safety first. I've got my safety glasses on. I've got my gloves here. Let's measure out. Remember, always to be safe with it. Next, we're going to glue the pieces together. All right, we've got our board, and now we're going to paint the entire board white. I know I'm not really wearing a great painter's outfit, but what this does is it makes sure that the board doesn't absorb any extra heat. All the sunlight gets reflected off of it, and it'll accumulate snow a lot better. All right, we've got our board in place in the spot that we want it. What we can do now is take a stake and get it into the ground. Now we know exactly where the board is once it starts to snow. Get out your ruler, and once that snow stops, measure that snow and record it. There are a few other ways to submit snow measurements. One of them is you can take several measurements in grass, although not as accurate. So take 3 or 4 measurements and then add those together, and of course divide by the number of measurements that you made, and that should be a relatively accurate amount. And you can submit them to us. We can use those numbers after the snowstorm. Just head over to RochesterFirst.com. In the weather tab, there's a Weather Watchers area where we love to see those, and of course it's super important to get those readings. And next, after the break, we're going to take a look at some historic snowstorms in Rochester.
Helping seniors.
Helping kids.
Helping families.
Helping pets.
These are the lives Subaru retailers have impacted in our communities through our support of over 1,400 hometown charities. In fact, Subaru and our retailers will have proudly donated over $200 million to national and hometown charities through the Subaru Share the Love event.
Get a great vehicle and support a great cause at Van Bordel Subaru.
I was having problems with our air conditioning unit, and I knew the furnace wasn't far behind, so I called John Bettelm Heating and Cooling to talk about new systems for the whole house. It was easy, it was understandable, they were honest with me, it was just great all the way around.
At John Bettelm, your comfort is everything. We'll explain the options, help you choose the perfect heating and cooling system for your home, and we'll do the job right. But price is important too. And right now, we can help you save on a new high-efficiency carrier system. With financing, you can get new heating and AC for as little as $140 a month.
John Bettelm was able to get me rebates, which helped on the cost. They did financing for me, which helped with my budget, and the energy-efficient equipment that they put in made my prices go down on my utility bills. It's a win-win-win.
Turn to the experts at John Bettelm. We promise to make you more comfortable and save you more money.
Call 271-8888. John Bettelm Heating and Cooling.
What a great day.
She was so beautiful.
Whether it's making your own dreams come true or helping others dream big, CNB Wealth Management gives you the confidence of knowing you'll be ready for all of life's memorable moments. CNB Wealth Management from Canandaigua National Bank and Trust.
Attention Monroe County. The free Black Friday blowout sale is going on now at Dio Guardi Auto Sales with savings up to $5,000 for 3 days only. All makes and models from Mercedes to Kia. Go to DioGuardiAutoSales.com and pick out your next dream car. We're giving top dollar for all trades. Don't let your credit stop you from this blockbuster sale. Dio Guardi Auto Sales works with all types of credit. The Dio Guardi pre-Black Friday blowout sale is on now.
Now, Rochester is no stranger to snowstorms, and our most senior meteorologist, Josh Nichols, has seen a lot of it, haven't you, Josh?
Yeah, 20 years in Rochester now, and my 20th winter. What I can tell you is that we've seen some big snowfalls in La Nina winters. I take you for a walk down memory lane of Rochester's biggest snowstorms of the years past. For its size, Rochester, New York is one of the snowiest cities in the nation. We're no stranger to bitter winds, nose-numbing cold, treacherous ice, and of course, big snowfalls. Now, some winters are easier than others to handle, and over time, many are forgotten, but some snowstorms are simply unforgettable. We know that this winter will bring some variation of La Nina, a global phenomenon defined by below normal water temperatures in the central and eastern tropical Pacific. This, in turn, has an impact on global weather patterns. Take a look at some of the snowfall totals for La Nina winters in Rochester. They are impressive, but have some variation. Knowing all of this, let's look back on just a few of Rochester's more memorable snowstorms that happened in La Nina winters. See if you can remember living through some of these furiously flaky times. Number one on the list are the back-to-back March snowstorms of 1999. The first storm, deemed the Blizzard of '99, arrived on March 4th with snowfall rates of 2 to 3 inches an hour. 22.3 inches of snow fell in total. That caliber of snow paralyzed the region and triggered chaos on the roads. We hadn't even finished the cleanup process when the second storm arrived on March 6th, dropping more than 1.5 feet of snow in 24 hours. Snowdrifts reached 4 to 5 feet in places. To this day, those two one-day snowfalls rank among the top 3 in Rochester weather history. Do you remember the Great Leap Day storm of 1984? If you do, you know that it dragged on and on for 6 days. The worst of the snow was on the last 2 days of the month of February. When all was said and done, Rochester ended up with a whopping 32.7-inch snowfall. The Rochester area briefly in shutdown mode, with normal life not resuming until March 1st. We saved the best for last. The king of all snowfalls in La Nina years, albeit a weak La Nina year, happened 25 years ago in January of 1996. With 23 inches of snowfall recorded in 24 hours, it remains the largest single-day snowfall in Rochester weather history. The bulk of the snow wasn't actually from one organized system, but rather the result of lake effect off of Lake Ontario. Now, just to be clear, like ice cream, La Nina comes in a variety of flavors and styles. Some La Nina years have brought below normal snowfall, while other La Nina years, like the ones highlighted here, have overperformed. A repeat performance of these highlighted events from past La Ninas is unlikely, but it does give you an idea of what winter is capable of in a La Nina year. Let's toss things over to Eric.
Thank you very much, Josh. I'm joined by my buddy here, John Kutchko. Now, John, you are our resident expert here of getting out in the winter and getting us a chance to see what you see with the camera. That's not always easy to do when it's cold.
No, winter is my favorite time to shoot. Let's go to this drone shot, Lake Ontario, the pancake ice. When you're using a drone, critical is your battery power in the cold. You have to have a lot of it. I make my flights very quick, maybe 4 minutes in the air. I love shooting the wild waves on Lake Ontario. On this day in Oswego, 81-mile-an-hour gusts. Key here, Eric, is to stay away from trees when you're shooting. People like to take cover near a tree, not when it's that windy. It can kill you. A branch can kill you. And then that kind of wind, a lot of trees come down. That was quite a sight. And then there's the diamond dust up in Oswego County. It was 0 degrees when I shot this. Key here, protect your extremities, hands especially. You're out in that kind of cold right there, and you can see the ice on the waterfall, the crystals from the mist coming off the waterfall. Your fingers can freeze in a hurry, and you can get frostbite in a matter of minutes. So stay warm, but stay smart as well.
Now, let me ask you this. Your equipment, does it hold up okay in temps like that?
It does. You know, I know ahead of time when I'm going to be in sub-0 degree weather, and so I bring a couple of batteries. That's critical because batteries will drain in a hurry. But specifically with a drone shot like you see right there, it is important to know the weather conditions. I'm a certified drone pilot, so you got to know the weather conditions, whether you're legal or not to fly in that space. And then you got to realize drone batteries do not like cold. I don't care how warm they are, how charged they are. And most important with this shot again from Oswego, watch the things around you when you're shooting in that heavy wind. I love the heavy wind. You know that. And you got to be protected when you're doing that.
Great advice. Thank you, John. Coming up, we are in the business of predicting the future, but what about predicting the weather 50 years from now? We'll be right back.
It is the question that matters the most.
¿Dónde está?
That takes you behind the story.
Robert.
It drives everything we do. It is the foundation of trust.
Who did all of this?
And the truth that propels us forward.
What did you make of that?
It is the question. One word, 3 letters long. And without it, our purpose,
That's news.
and our freedom fade. This is why.
Money a little tight this holiday season? Here's a great solution. Bring your unwanted jewelry, diamonds, coins, and collectibles to the Jewelry and Coin Exchange and get more money. Need a gift for someone special? The Jewelry and Coin Exchange has you covered with high-quality jewelry at near wholesale prices. With a large selection, you're sure to find that perfect gift. This holiday season, go to the Jewelry and Coin Exchange and get more when you sell and pay less when you buy. You'll be glad you did.
At Ide Honda in Penfield, we make it easy, fun, and safe to get your new ride at Ide.
Right now at Ide Honda, you can lease the Honda Civic LX for just $249 per month with only your first payment of $249 due at delivery. Of course you can put money down to lower the payment. It's up to you. Or you can finance with an APR as low as 0.9% on select models.
So email, call, or come visit us at Ide Honda in Penfield. We'd love to earn your business.
Every workplace injury is different, but what comes next is always the same. Questions, paperwork, and stress. Seeger and Shortino will help you handle all of it, just like we've helped thousands of injured workers over the last 30 years. We look at your case from every angle: workers' comp, personal injury, and Social Security disability. And we handle them all under one roof, so you have one number to call, one voice speaking for you to get all the benefits you deserve.
Families call Newcomer to save money, not spend money. With funerals at only $28.95, families save hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Cremations and funerals can be expensive, but not at Newcomer.
Style, technology, and fuel efficiency all come together in a new Vision Hyundai Sonata Hybrid Blue. Drive one for $249 a month with 0 down or pay 0 interest.
Vision Hyundai,
Now, forecasting out 5 days has its challenges, and the further out you go, the more difficult forecasting gets.
Yeah, we wanted to see what Rochester could look like, not in 5 days, not in 5 years, but 50 years. I went out a half century to see what it could be in store for Rochester in 2070 as we factor in a changing climate. Rochester's weather is drastically different from week to week, but seasonal change has been consistent, except over the last few hundred years as climate change starts to shift our seasons. So how has Rochester winter changed? The meteorological winter is December, January, and February, and the trend line for snowfall over the last 50 years has been slightly down, about 4 inches. This matches a pattern across the Northeast, according to Climate Central's meteorologist Sean Sublett.
As we go into the longer term, let's say 20, 30 years and beyond, a more pronounced decline in snowfall is more likely.
While there may be a general decrease in seasonal snowfall, the Great Lakes are a wild card. We are seeing warmer temperatures, and we're also seeing less ice forming. That could mean more lake effect snow in the near term and maybe more future big snow events. More snow in the next few decades could mean good business for ski resorts, as they expect more customers coming from the south, where less and less snow is expected. When it comes to temperature, Rochester winters have trended up over the last 50 years, from 25 degrees Fahrenheit to 29 degrees, warming faster than any other season. Projecting ahead another 50 years, we go even warmer, putting us above the freezing mark.
It will still be cold. You will still have cold outbreaks, no question, all right? But the intensity of those cold outbreaks, the duration of those cold outbreaks will not be as sustainable as they have been in the past.
2070 is not that far away and will be warmer than winters now, with more rain than snow and shorter cold blasts. But the cold will still make an appearance, and so will the snow. According to experts, maple syrup is one of the many industries that needs to adapt to climate change. With warmer winters, not as much sap will be available, and production is expected to go down in the coming decades. Coming up next, we look in the short term, what to expect this winter after the break.
If your credit score looks like this, you don't have to buy a car from a place like this. Bring $500 in your pay stub to any Vision location, and we'll get you financed guaranteed.
Make the Vision decision. Yeah.
Every workplace injury is different, but what comes next is always the same. Questions, paperwork, and stress. Seeger and Shortino will help you handle all of it, just like we've helped thousands of injured workers over the last 30 years. We look at your case from every angle: workers' comp, personal injury, and Social Security disability. And we handle them all under one roof, so you have one number to call, one voice speaking for you to get all the benefits you deserve.
November is Diamond Stud Earring Month at Reed's Jewelers. Receive special pricing on every pair in store. We still hand select and match each set of diamond studs. Sizes from 1/10 of a carat to 6 carats. If you're looking to sell your studs, we're buying. And should you want to trade your present pair, we're happy to take your trade, even if you did not purchase from us. Buy, sell, or trade diamond stud earrings all month at Reed's Jewelers. Buy, sell, or trade diamond earring studs all month at Reed's Jewelers.
There's no better time to reflect on what it means to be a local, independent community bank. At Canandaigua National Bank and Trust, our focus is on our customers and communities. To provide services and solutions, as well as care and compassion, to be flexible, nimble, and responsive in times of need. We're more than a bank, we're your partner in whatever challenge we face. Today and every day, CNB is invested in you, your business, and our community.
At Ide Honda in Penfield, we make it easy, fun, and safe to get your new ride at Ide.
Right now at Ide Honda, you can lease the Honda Civic LX for just $249 per month with only your first payment of $249 due at delivery. Of course you can put money down to lower the payment. It's up to you. Or you can finance with an APR as low as 0.9% on select models.
So email, call, or come visit us at Ide Honda in Penfield. We'd love to earn your business.
Here's what's coming up tonight on Channel 8 WROC. Download the News 8 app for live radar, breaking news, and your forecast.
All right, and now for the fun part of this winter weather special. What does this all mean for this upcoming winter? Well, there's a lot of overarching themes here, but one of the big ones that will play into how this unfolds is the fact that this is going to be a La Nina winter. Now, this is the counterpart to El Nino, which is the one that most of you have probably heard of. La Nina is a cooling of the waters off of the equatorial Pacific. And you see on this map behind me, these are cooler than normal waters right now in blue, warmer in yellow. And note all of that blue right in here. This is what represents La Nina. As cooler ocean water is upwelled is the word we use this, and that gets filtered back off to the west. Now that's a long way from home, but believe it or not, it has big implications on the weather here into the United States. And the big one for us is a more active jet stream that tends to carve a path very close to western New York. Remember, going back to school with this, the jet stream, that ribbon of very fast-moving winds, separates colder air to the north and warmer air off to the south. And if the jet stream is very near us, there can be a lot of ups and downs and fluctuations. I think it means a few things. Number one, we're going to be active, but how active and what that means for precip type is a completely different animal. Just subtle deviations in the track of these lows. If they go west, you get more rain. If they move right over us, we get more of these mixed precip events. And, well, the southerly track is usually the snowier track, and all of those are going to be fair game. What we're watching, too, how much snow is on the ground in Siberia? That feels like a weird thing to be relevant, but it is. There's expected to be normal to slightly less than normal through what is left of fall, and that has implications on what we call the polar vortex, which is this chunk of cold air that tends to rotate its way around the poles. With this in mind, this kind of setup, this kind of pattern, usually results in that polar vortex being more bottled up to the north. Now, when we get these big Arctic intrusions of colder air, that is when that vortex is more amplified, which we think is not going to happen as much as it otherwise could. And that's kind of where we think this forecast goes. Now, as we track our overall predictions here, we'll start things off with temperatures. We think it's a good bet at this point that we're going to end up being warmer than normal across most of western New York. Now, let's talk precip out of this. I'll toss things over now to meteorologist Christine Gregory.
Yeah, so with our La Nina setup, like Eric was saying, we typically will get a more active pattern. We'll have more large-scale weather system weather systems moving across the Midwest and going into our area. And then the important factor is what type of precipitation it will be. Depends on the placement of the track, and with our above normal temperatures, it could lend itself to maybe more rain events. But we've also got our lake effect snow machine to our north, which could also have a big impact on snowfall as well.
And that's definitely going to come into the picture. Do we see more lake effect? And if we go through the latter part of the season and it gets really cold, I think we're going to be talking about the potential for bigger amounts of snowfall given the history of La Nina, and we need to also consider, because of the proximity of that storm track, more freezing rain and sleet events as well.
Yeah, that's right, Josh. It looks like we're going to go into the next month and a half with no big cold blasts, and averages say that we're likely going to have to swing sometime in the upper numbers of snowfall. So I'm thinking for the second half of the winter, we're probably going to see more large cold blasts. A quick look at last winter, January, February, and March. None of those months saw over 2 feet of snow. It's very unlikely for that to happen again. So we're probably going to see one of those months with over 2 feet of snow. Eric?
All right, so we shall see how this plays out. We appreciate you tuning in and watching our winter weather special. Hopefully you get a chance to enjoy this winter despite what's going on with the pandemic and all. And we'll see you next time around.